Alright, okay, so I read the book Not Your Love Story, and it's basically about an 18-year-old girl named Macy Evans, and she works at an old school videotape store with all her friends, and she is like a small YouTuber who reviews movies, and it's called like Rental World, something like that, something Rental World. And she's not super big on there, but her dream is to be big on YouTube and earn a lot of money and move out of her small town because she wants to become big. And because her family's very tight on money, she lives with her grandma and her mom. So that's like her dream to become big on YouTube. So at the beginning of the book, she surprises her mom with a Kansas City baseball game tickets. So they get to the game and everyone's like thinks that they're sister because her mom is like very young and everything. And so they sit down on their seats, and her mom and her decide to switch seats. And she has her hot dog and her food, and she spills it all over the guy next to her. And the guy's super cute and stuff. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, and then her mom was like, I'm sorry, my daughter's a klutz and everything. And he's like, oh, it's okay. So he ends up taking off his shirt because it spilled all over him. And there's this lady behind them and keeps like interacting with their conversations. And they're like, it's a little weird. But, anyways, they just keep talking, and she talks about her YouTube channel, and he shows her, and she was like embarrassed to show him a video, but after the video was done, she like hurried and put her phone away, and he was like, that's super cool, and he was really like cool about it. So she felt good about that. And um she ends up catching the fly ball in the game, and so that's a big part of the story. And so then she needed to go to the bathroom. So she's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So he's like, oh, I'll take you. And so the lady behind them was like, yeah, you take her to the bathroom. She just kept like interacting with the conversations, which is weird. So he takes her to the bathroom, and nothing like, she goes in, she comes out, and when she comes out, she says in the book that he was like trying to flirt, but he was really bad at it. And so I thought that was funny. But they go back and sit down, and the game's over, and they leave, and they go back home. And then the next morning she looks at her video, and it has 5,000 views, and she's like, that's crazy, like that's a lot of views or whatever. So then she starts talking to her grandma and her mom, and they're like, why did you get his number? You didn't get his number? And she's like, no, like I'll never see him again, it doesn't matter. Like she wasn't into it at all. So she goes to work that day, and she works with her friend named Paxton, Elise, and Midnight. And they're all four working, and they start to, she's like, yeah, my video had 5,000 views this morning. So she looks again, and it has 100,000 views. And so they're like, holy crap, you're famous, this is crazy, whatever. So she starts looking through the comments, and she notices like the picture of the girl who's sitting behind them and is commenting. And she's like, how are all these people knowing how I look and everything? She's like, this is weird. So she ends up finding the girl who sat behind them at the game has a Twitter page of their fake relationship, and like documented the whole baseball game, saying like, look, they're here, they did, like they went to the bathroom, they went here. And so she's like, what is happening? So she tries to find Paxton on like social media, and she ends up finding him and DMs him, and she's freaking out and doesn't know what to say, like is super nervous for his response. And so he responds, and he goes, I think we should talk, like feel free to FaceTime me. So they end up talking, and he's getting all these views and followers from her, and she's getting all these followers from him. So this moral of the story is that they decide to fake this relationship for views and stuff. So along the way, lots of like stuff happens, and along the way, she starts liking the boy named Paxton that she works with, and she's planning this huge long date with Eric is the boy who she met at the game, with Eric, so they can like get pictures and tweets and everything. So they're faking this whole relationship, but they keep getting views and views and views. And so she has this date on Wednesday with Eric, and a couple days before that, all of their friends went to the lake and had canoes and watched a movie on the lake. And so that's when Paxton and Macy started like clicking and realized they liked each other. So they both didn't work on Wednesday, Paxton and Macy. So Paxton asked Macy if they wanted to hang out, but she's like, oh, I can't, I already have plans, because she had this date with Eric that no one knows that they're faking this relationship. And so they go on the date, and it and they made the waiter like take pictures of them, and he's like, let me take a picture, will you guys take a picture of us feeding them, or feeding me food to her? And so he's feeding her salmon, and she's like, I'm allergic, I'm allergic. She's like, where's my EpiPen? So this whole conundrum goes on, and she only did it just so she could like prove a point to Eric that like he doesn't control the relationship, like she controls it too. So that's just a funny thing that happened. And so she decides after the date to go to the store, and Paxton finds the Twitter page, and he bought her flowers and a note and everything, and was going to give it to her when she came, but he threw it away because he found the whole Twitter page. So she goes to the store, and a couple days before this they were hanging out because Paxton raises bunnies, and she was gonna go help him like for the fair and everything, and they almost kissed, but she had the date on Wednesday, so she knew she couldn't kiss him. So then after the date, when she's at the store, she found the roses and stuff in the garbage and was like, oh my gosh, I just blew my chance and everything. So basically at the end of the book, Paxton's parents died, and he's been living with like Gigi, and I forgot her other name, but and so at the end of the book, Macy starts to realize like this is not how she wants her channel to be like portrayed as. Like it's not something that she loves to do, and all the views are nice and everything. She doesn't like how she's being looked at and everything, so she decides to end the relationship. And Eric's super mad about it and everything. And at the end of the book, Paxton and Macy end up being together. And so that's basically the moral of the story. And a theme that I learned from this book is like, it's crazy to think that social media can have such a big impact on someone, but basically I would learn from this that like social media can control your life, and you shouldn't let that happen. Like you need to stay true to who you are and not let anything come between that, especially social media, like for views and everything. It shouldn't be even like a thing. And one thing I really liked about this book is that it was very like modern, up to date today. Like there's actually a lot of like deep stuff that happens in here. It's like super deep, but it's like was good to learn about and read about. And I liked how realistic it was. Like it was, and I like how like relatable it was also. Like these are our age of teenagers, and like things like this can happen to someone. And yeah, I really think it was a good book. It's a new book even, I think. So yeah, it was super fun to read, and I really liked it. So